What up, tribe? It's your girl Raji, and I would like to welcome you to my podcast, The House of Cush, where the evolved hustlers come to learn more about rootwork, conjure, tarot, culture, astrology, and a little bit of everything in between. So for today's Cush Almanac, we are tapping into Tuesday energy. Now, Tuesday is ruled by Mars, and typically on Tuesdays, you would see more what we call left-hand workings. And left-hand workings would include like baneful magic, like cursing, hexing, or jinxing. The energy in the air is also very aggressive, lustful even. There's a lot of possibility for battles, and we're also tapping into the sexual potency of today. Today is also a day of what we would consider to be lust. Now, if you are into doing certain workings, today is a good day to activate your protective things, like if you have any wards that you need to activate, or any sort of talismans or charms, today will be a good day for that as well. Now, in terms of like baneful magic, like hexing, cursing, and jinxing, like I do offer these services. However, they are never without divination. And if you are a DIY practitioner, you most definitely should always do divination before you set off into those types of workings. Those types of workings are very heavy. They carry a lot of responsibility. And a lot of times people just do not want to touch that type of shit. And I totally get it. But in the realm of justice and doing things to be able to balance the scales in this world, it's about frequency, it's about divination. And if you scared, say you scared. But yeah, this is definitely a space that you have to consider. Now, if you feel like you have been hexed or cursed, or possibly jinxed, the first thing is I would always suggest cleansing. I would always suggest spiritual baths. And like that's the very first step you take when you think things are sort of kind of off. So, you could do something as simple as an egg cleanse. You could do something, like I said, a spiritual bath. If you are, like I said, a DIYer, check out my Patreon. I do have some workings that are there, and also some insight on how to read and perform a, easy egg cleanse. If you, feeling kind of icky, like I said, whenever you feel like the energy is off, don't just sit in that energy. Like, clean your house up, clean the corners out, refresh your wards, take spiritual baths. Like, there are things that you can do. And to the people who are like, I'm afraid to hex, they not afraid to hex you. And hexing is not necessarily, and cursing and jinxing is not necessarily something like getting over a cauldron or lighting a candle. Sometimes it's just evil eye, envy, jealousy, gossip. So just be mindful. It comes in all shapes and forms. And there are practitioners out there who don't want to touch it, but shit, I ain't shit. I like my dessert first, so okay. But yeah, you gotta be covered, you gotta be protected, and you just gotta stand on your own 10, okay? So be mindful. Now, in terms of ambition, you could use today to fuel business endeavors, really put yourself out there, and, focus on what is going to build you up. Now, we're going to get into the moon phase today, and also there's a lot of deep transformative work going on with the sun being in Scorpio. We are almost at Samin. I think I'm pronouncing that wrong, but it was what was built, Halloween was built off of. Okay, I'll be doing an article on it on Patreon, so y'all turn on y'all notifications and tap in, because it could assist you. But yeah, so if you are noticing things are a little aggy today, Mars energy, plus with all these retrogrades we got going on. So let's get off into these. We've got about 6 retrogrades going on, y'all. And retrogrades are usually a time that is for review, time for you to slow down, look back to me, and see if you have learned the lesson. So Saturn in Pisces is retrograding, so that's your spirituality, your inner workings, not what you present outwardly, right? You're reviewing that, you're harvesting, you're reaping what you've sown, and it's time for you to go back and review. Uranus in Gemini is very interesting because it's a lot of culture work. It's a lot of generational work. It's a lot of change going on. And y'all see what's going on in the news, all this breakdown of the government. So a lot of stuff is being brought up for review. Like, does this shit really benefit us? Does it really work for us in the long term, the long game of things? And people have mixed feelings about that, you know. Now we got Neptune in Pisces also retrograding, so the veil being lifted, you know, what you thought it was is not what it was, you know. Were you being delusional? Were you being a con artist? Were you not facing reality in certain areas of your life? The North Node being in Pisces, again, spiritual work, balancing out, you know, who you are internally, your dreams, your hopes, your desires. This is also very creative energy. That's retrograding too. So you are probably going back and refocusing, looking at old projects, old ideals, lots of spirituality talk as well. And y'all see this going on too. Now, Chiron being the wounded healer, it is in Aries and it is retrograding. So this is like things that you may have dealt with in your childhood, your shadow self, alongside Lilith. Lilith is not in retrograde, but I feel like Lilith and Chiron go hand in hand. But with it being in Aries, like, again, this is people are battling between their head and their heart right now and changing how they approach things and how you do things. And maybe you're going back to review things. If you were bullied, if you were, you know, people were trying to redirect you. And Aries is rules the head. Again, very creative energy, very starter energy. And Aries is ruled by Mars. So stay out them full face today. Period. Stay out them full face today. Okay. Now, let's see here. Now, I'm looking at the transits for today, and you guys can also take a look at that on astro-seek.com. To me, it's the most reliable transit chart, which is why I utilize it when I talk to you guys. So you always cross-check, and you can also see where your transits align. This is all general, so always take it where it resonates, right? Okay. Now, the sun is squaring Pluto, and y'all know Pluto is, again, change, transformation, but also wealth. Diamonds are made under pressure, but, you know, there's a lot, you know, Scorpio energy is very private, it's very serious, and Pluto is in Aquarius, which is shifting how you think, the community, and, you know, I feel like they're having a little conflict. Like I said, how do you want to be seen? How do you want to be digested? Shifting, you know, who you appeal to, why you appeal to these people. Why do you desire to appeal to people that don't like resonate with where you're going? The moon is quite busy today, as well as Lilith. Let's see. We got the moon blessing Mercury. So if you're willing to do the work with the moon being in Capricorn, you'll be blessed. You know, doing that Scorpio energy, that deep transformative, that things can change, but you gotta like actually sow those seeds of harvest. You gotta put those seeds down, even if you don't necessarily see it coming to fruition like before your very eyes. That does not mean shit ain't shaking. Okay, slow motion better than no motion. But it's also squaring Venus, so to me that lets me know that Libra energy here, with the Venus being in Libra, like you are having to focus on, like I said, what brings you joy, what brings you happiness, and not necessarily being worried about what appeals to the crowd. And oftentimes I feel like that moon in Capricorn squaring Venus and Libra is more or less about like the work. It's not gonna look, you know, we in the field, the work is not gonna look cute, it's not gonna look pretty, it's not gonna always resonate immediately. But if you're an innovator, you're a leader, you're a change maker, you know that you are sowing seeds and doing things that are eventually going to bring you happiness, and it's going to bring you to your true tribe and community. But there may be a little bit of wrestling with that because you are shedding old patterns, old habits. It's opposing Jupiter as well. And Jupiter is in Cancer. And, you know, Cancer is, to me, the more stubborn also of the water signs. You know, hey, So you might be battling with more your emotions, it's big emotions, big, like it's a lot going on social media right now. It's a lot going on around you. So, take that time to yourself, because if you move too quickly and expose, it could be a lot. It could be a bit much. Let's see, what other significance. Mercury is opposing Uranus at 1 degrees, and people are stepping into their power. People are embracing new timelines, new ideals, and change is not thoroughly being embraced. So there is a battle right now. Like I said, y'all can see what's going on within politics, within the news. If anybody kind of thinks a little different, it's a clear, like, what do they say? It's a clear divide. You can see who's on what side, and it ain't really no, it's not really no gray area. If a person is for this, they for this. Like, people are boldly stating how they feel about shit. Mars. It's working with Jupiter, also working with Saturn. It says 0 degrees, y'all, both of those. And when you get into degree work, to me, that's like absolute energy, right? So this is very potent energy. So Mars being in Scorpio, it is trining Jupiter, it is trining Saturn, and it's opposing Uranus at 5 degrees. That's why you see all those changes being made, things shifting. It's also trining Neptune as well. So for you to be stable and have this freedom that you desire, you have to be willing to go through what they say, pray for peace but prepare for war. That's the type of energy we're in right now. And I know a lot of us are like, oh, but we're not ready. But shit, the universe, astrology don't give a damn about you being ready, okay? That's why I like to be able to follow the transits and whatnot, even though a lot of people don't be with that shit. When you study astrology and planetary magic, you could really see why certain energies and things are happening the way it's happening within our politics, our everyday lives, our social circles, our families, our love lives. It really does play a part. So always try to stay ahead of the game. I mean, obviously you have to live your life, but at the end of the day, to also, let me put that out there. When people be like, oh my God, you can't make astrology your life. Astrology is your life. You operate Sunday through Saturday, and those are all based on astrological transits, and things happen on certain days. So don't be fooled. You got to figure out a way to incorporate it, so that it comes naturally. It doesn't feel like a struggle. That's how I have been able to kind of work with what we do, because it's not out my way at this point. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to tip over into psychosis, but at the end of the day, as long as you stay grounded and realize that hell is happening whether you want it to or not, well, you'll get in tune and you'll start to work with it and not against it. But yeah, Lilith is busy as hell. She real busy. It's shadow work going on right now. Sextile the moon at 1 degree, conjuncting with Mercury and Mars. She's trining Jupiter and Saturn. She's opposing Uranus, trying to find some balance and harmony. But it's hard. They're going against each other right now. What Lilith in again? Scorpio. Ooh, Scorpio is fighting with everybody. Trining Neptune, like Canucks, Chiron at 0 degrees. Chiron is fairly active with it squaring the moon. Opposing Venus. Doing working, shadow work of healing your wounds around relationships, partnerships. Justice is being served. Canucks Mars squaring Jupiter, but all at 0 degrees. It's a lot of potent, strong ass energy in the air. And what I would suggest, from what I'm seeing here, is follow your intuition. If your gut telling you some shit off, it's off. If you feel the need to shift and change, go ahead. Don't question yourself. Learn the lessons from the past, and apply them right now so that you can move forward in your desires and your hopes. Life is all about perspective. So really, it ain't about what another motherfucker want. It's about what you want. So I think it's all about individuality as well in your personal walk, because we getting out of that group think shit. We're getting out of that group think shit. So be mindful. Let's see, and the moon in Capricorn, so like strategizing and working. So let's see about the daily horoscopes today. Let's see. Now, these horoscopes are already available, like I said, on Patreon, y'all. So click the link in my bio, and if you don't want to subscribe, you can purchase the horoscopes, but it is available for you guys daily. So with the moon being in Capricorn today, it is under the Scorpio sun. So we do have the energy of being more mindful, being more mature in places where your ego may be battling with what you were being complacent about. Like, this isn't about comfort. This is about kind of restructuring and moving things around. And sometimes that's not a feel good moment. To be refined and to be perfect is to be constantly working, forever a student. And that shit is not, those inner feelings that's coming up. So anything that is not in alignment, anything that's not stable, you're going to feel the push to get it out the way. Now, anything that you may find being rooted more so in obligation rather than what it truly is, like, you're holding on to things because you like, this is just what I'm supposed to do. If it's too much, it is going to feel like a burden on you. So this isn't punishment. This is more about spiritual correction with that Saturn and Pisces retrograding right now. What you need to be focusing on is moving with intention, authority, and knowing that all actions have consequences. And this is not about you being good or bad. This is about you operating at a frequency. And again, frequency is all about perspective. So what is it that you want out of this shit at the end of the day? So what we're dealing with now is what is real, what is in front of us, and not what we were like, oh my God, I was wishing it would be like this. No, you need to look at it for what it's presenting itself in the reality and work with that. Okay? So let's get into these horoscopes. Now, Aries, with the Capricorn moon tightening its focus on your 10th house of career, reputation, and long-term goals, you are finding yourself under review by spirit, not other people, when it comes to your public image, your work ethic, and your authority energy. Today is a call for self-correction and disciplined follow through. Now, that might not be easy for Aries, but because you get an idea and you want to go, but you've got to tighten up. Okay, tighten up. Now, Taurus, the moon is highlighting your 9th house, which is about your beliefs, your direction, and spiritual law. Something that you maybe once really were going hard in the paint about, you truly believed in, it's just no longer compatible with who you are now. This is the day to let go of any outdated philosophies and replace them with truth. And this is being earned. You learned from your experiences, so you need to apply it. Gemini, the moon is active in your 8th house of power, debt, cords, and shadow exchange. Any hidden attachments or energetic contracts that you need to be looking at, they're going to surface for review. Now, this is the day to separate your loyalty from what is like keeping you in bondage. Cancer, the Capricorn moon is sitting in your 7th house, and this is the house of your one-on-one bonds, your relationships. Anything that is dealing with your structure today, you need to focus on it. Is it breaking you down, or is it building you up? Is it reinforcing you, or is it diluting you? Are you just drowning your true nature out to appease these relationships? So checks and balances, Cancer. Leo, now the moon is landing in your 6th house. Now this is your habits, your labor, your energetic hygiene, okay? Your body is telling you something that your ego may necessarily be ignoring. So take note when it comes to your health, when it comes to certain things, you need to really pay attention, okay? Virgo, the moon is active in your 5th house. Now, this is pleasure, romance, self-expression, creativity. Something that you once did for joy, it's now showing up like an obligation. And your spirit, your soul is resisting forced performances. Like, are you doing this because you really like it? Or are you doing it because, it's what you always do? Libra, the moon moves through your 4th house of ancestry, home, and emotional roots. Now, Emotional inheritance is loud. Like, you're pulling energy from previous timelines, like in generations. So what you do today is either going to repeat or repair in terms of a lineage pattern. So take time, sit with yourself, and figure out like why you're fighting that energy. Scorpio, the moon energizes your third house. This is your speech, communication, agreements, and mental contracts. So your words today are binding. Use precision or be quiet. So you got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. And it includes to yourself. Okay? Thank you. Sagittarius, the moon is in your second house. This pressures your themes of work, money, and resource exchange. Now, you're being shown where maybe you work harder and you're not being valued for that work. So don't sit up and just overexert yourself in places and spaces that don't reciprocate. Capricorn, the moon sits in your first house. Identity and self-command. Okay, that's the first house energy. So today is like coming face to face with the difference between who you are and who you perform to be. So take that mask on off, baby. Take that mask on off, because Scorpio is ripping that bitch off. Aquarius, the moon moves through your 12th house. Endings, unseen enemies, and spiritual cleanup. Something must be removed quietly, not dramatically, okay? So, a silent cutoff ain't, you know what I'm saying? Ain't never hurt nobody. People try to make you feel guilty about a silent cutoff, but shit, it ain't never hurt nobody, okay? It only hurt people who trying to latch on to use you and you if you performing out of ego. Pisces, the moon lights your 11th house of networks, alliances, and a future vision. You're outgrowing the rooms you once begged to be included in. So you are now expanding. Water expands. Water can't be contained, right? So in your community, in your tribe, you cannot be contained in this box any longer. Okay, if these places and spaces don't resonate with who you have evolved into, it's time for you to move, bitch. Get out the way, okay? Get on up out the way. All right, so y'all, if y'all want to look more into guidance, and I've got a couple of rootwork tips that you guys can, little workings y'all can do today based on these horoscopes, tap into Patreon to catch that vibe. All right, y'all. And yeah, so I'm going to tap in and see what guidance the spirits have for us today before we dip off. Okay, before we dip off, before we leave, before I let you go. Y'all know. If you ever been to a HBCU homecoming, you know that is the song, baby. That's the moment. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Okay. That's for somebody. All right, spirits. Thank you so much for allowing me to stand at the crossroads on behalf of the tribe. Thank you so much for covering and protecting me as I go on this journey. Thank you so much for the gift. You know I don't abuse it. I honor it. I appreciate it. I love it. I respect it. What guidance do you have for the tribe for today? What y'all got for us? Queen of Swords in reverse, present. The Chariot, ending. 6, what is it? 3, 6, 7 of Wands in reverse. Clarity for the Queen of Swords in reverse. Okay, 5 of Cups in reverse. Clarity for the 5 of Cups in reverse. The Sun. Clarity for the 7 of Wands in reverse. The Hermit. Okay. So we got heavy Leo, Cancer, and Virgo energy, okay? So with the Queen of Swords in reverse for the past energy, what this is really telling me off top is you don't need to be feeling in regret. Like, what you didn't know in previous timelines, stop beating yourself up about that shit, okay? You didn't know, so how would you have known what to do? So now that you know, you can now make a move. So right now, you need to be moving forward. You need to keep going, because these things have been revealed to you in this about the past, so that you know how to handle shit moving forward. Now, in the near future, you're being called to commit. You're being guided away from things that you have to fight for in your physical realm. You shouldn't have to fight to be in the room. You shouldn't have to fight for your dreams. Things need to be in flow. You need to be moving with what makes you feel good in terms of your internal journey, your creative journey, your spiritual journey. You shouldn't have to fight, in your physical realm. So now your spirits are guiding you away from that and calling you into hermit mode so that you can regroup. You being moved away from this, places and places where you feel lied to, where your knowledge and your growth is not being, celebrated. You're moving out of those rooms. This is in itself is a blessing, y'all. So don't take it as a deed, like they said. Don't take it as a punishment, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not. They want you grounded, they want you committed, and hey, it is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. But you can't do shit with a person that just won't give up. Okay, just don't give up. Don't give up. Keep going. Keep responding, keep flowing, keep, creating, keep doing. And that's what the spirits got for y'all today, okay? Now, 10 of Pentacles in the back of the deck. This is an investment in your future, and it is going to pay off, okay? Don't beat yourself up about what you didn't know, okay? You know better now, so you can do better. All right. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. My November books are open for personal readings and workings. And like I said, if you a DIYer, join Patreon. We do have a lot of material and resources for y'all there. I love you guys. And per usual, make sure you follow, like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You never know who it can help. I love you. Mean it. And we're going to chat soon. Bye.